Hi, my name is Mary, and I'm an environment educator here at Green Acres. Today, we're here at the old church site, and we are going to be learning about some of the animals that call this area of Ohio home. And one great way to do that is by looking at the tracks or footprints that they leave behind. So today, we're going to go tracking together. So to start, let's take a look at a track I found right here in the snow. So right here we have our track, and we're going to start by making some observations. What do we notice about the track? So here I see two toes, 1, 2, right there, side by side. I want you to think about now, which direction was this animal going? It looks like the animal was going this direction because of the point of those two toes coming together right there. So it's going this way. And my last question I want you to think about is, how was it moving? Was it moving fast? Was it running? Was it hopping? Was it walking slowly? And looking at this track and the other tracks around it, it looks like this animal was walking slowly. So not only can we learn about this track, but we can also tell a story behind this track. So the first part of that story is deciding what animal was here, what animal left this track. So think about that. The animal that walked through here was a deer. So what was that animal doing? Why was it walking through here? So this time of year, animals are looking for food and shelter as well. So I think this deer walked through here after it had gotten a little nibble or a bite to eat from our bird feeder. Right over here, we have our bird feeder where it loves sunflower seeds. So I bet it walked through here, got a bite to eat, and then continued on to look for more food. All right, let's go find another track to learn more about that animal's story. Okay, I found another track, and actually it's not just one track. I found a whole bunch of tracks along this log here. This animal was moving around a whole bunch. So let's take a closer look and make some observations, just like we did with our first track. So the first question is, what do you notice? And with this, we're not just looking at one track. This time we're going to look at a set of tracks, all 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are not quite as well defined as our first one, so we can just kind of get a look more at the shape. So I see kind of longer tracks here, and I do see some toes in here, which is exciting to see some of those toes. And then I see 2 smaller tracks right here. Okay, my next question is, which way was it going? And based on the toes I see here, it's going this direction. So picturing an animal moving along this log here. And my last question is, how was it moving? Was it running? Was it hopping? Was it bounding along? Was it just kind of walking along? Based on these tracks that I see along this log, this animal was bounding along this log. So thinking about all those different clues, what animal do you think this was? You got it, it was a squirrel. So now let's paint that picture. What's the story behind these tracks? What happened here? I think that the squirrel was running or bounding along this log looking for maybe food to feed it throughout the winter, or maybe leaves to put into its home to keep itself warm. All right, let's move on and go find another track. We've come to our last track. So let's go through our questions again. Here's our track right here that we're going to focus on for right now. However, there's many tracks in here. So in this track right here, what do you notice? I notice 2 holes right here and a line coming out this direction. Interesting. What direction do you think it was going? I think this track here, this animal was going this direction. And my last question is, how was it moving? So let's look at many tracks to figure that out. I see several different tracks in here where there's 2 lines or 2 dots and a line going through that. And so it's moving back and forth, I think. And I think it's hopping, and I think it's moving pretty fast. as it's moving. So what animal do you think this is based on our observations? I think this is a mouse. And the reason I think that is because these two imprints here, I think, are the feet, and I think this line is the tail from that mouse. So we're not only seeing a footprint, we're also seeing the tail from the mouse. So the story, what happened here? I think that the mouse was hopping from one side of our trail to the other side. And I think it was in this short grass area, it was moving pretty quick, trying to get to the taller area to stay safe away from larger animals so that it wouldn't get eaten. All right, we've seen many different tracks of animals today. We've seen deer, we've seen squirrel tracks, and we've now seen mouse tracks. However, know that there's many more animals that are active this time of year, out and about. I encourage you to go to a local park or maybe a playground and look for tracks yourself. And know that you don't have to have snow on the ground in order to find tracks. You can also find tracks in mud or sand or even soft clay. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time here at Green Acres.